Hello and welcome to Alternate Image Raid. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I want to try something a little bit different. I'm again inspired by a video that Hell Hades made using this Ultimate Death Knight here in for Clan Boss. And while he was trying to tackle Ultra Nightmare with his team, making a speed-tuned Ultra Nightmare team with counterattack to do it. And it almost got to a 3-key team. I wanted to go for something a little bit smaller here because I don't see a lot of people making videos for Brutal. Now, I know not as many people are struggling with Brutal, so some of you may not be as interested in this, although this could possibly scale up to Nightmare. I wanted to try a team using no legendaries other than the recently free champion Ultra Death Knight, no Void champion, so these are fairly accessible. Two of them are guaranteed champions. The other two they're pretty decent. The other thing is I am not changing any gear whatsoever from what I had on them prior to coming up with this team literally just a few minutes ago. So I'm going to show the run here. I'll talk a little bit about the champions. There isn't going to be any AI programming whatsoever. And then at the end of the video, after the run is finished, I will show their gear, their masteries, enchant stats, and all that sort of thing. Now, one thing you can look forward to going with this is after this video, not immediately today, but in the next few days, I'm going to try to do a similar target for Nightmare, hoping I can find a team that at least has very, I want to say restrictive in the sense that I'm not using too many crazy champions for a Nightmare team using Ultimate Death Knight here. And then I might also, if I can manage to get a 2-key or maybe even 3-key Ultra Nightmare team, do something similar. I want to avoid using high-end Void legendaries. I want to avoid using endgame champions like Lydia. So we'll see what I can do with this. We'll see how this team works, but then definitely follow or subscribe to the channel so you can catch those videos coming up soon that will cover the Nightmare and possibly Ultra Nightmare teams with a similar style here. I want to try to find ones that are a little bit easier, more accessible for a newer player who's not maybe as comfortable using the speed tuning calculators from Deadwood Jedi or having the exact comps necessary in order to make those, unkillable or counterattack type teams work. So we'll see here, Ultimate Death Knight can provide a shield and a heal onto the whole team. Geomancer provides a weaken onto the boss as well as HP burn and does a bunch of reflect damage. Rector Drath will provide healing and also a perfect veil, which does do a damage reduction. Yaga over there, this guy right here, he will just basically do poisons and straight up damage. And then Khatun isn't a poison set because she's in a different clan boss team of mine. Again, not changing her whatsoever. And she will provide a speed boost to the team in order to help rotate this team through. Now, as this doesn't have any kind of, tuning to it whatsoever, we are going to take all the suns, we're going to take all the damage, but we have a decent amount of healing, a decent amount of survivability, and hopefully enough damage in the form of a couple champions and poison sets, and Yaga here providing poisons, to take out this boss before it can take us out. Or at the very least, get to that minimum requirement damage for Brutal, which is a little bit over 20 million. So I'm going to let this run out. I'm going to speed it up so that we can just kind of zoom through this. And afterwards, again, I will show the stats. I will show the gear and the masteries and the books. And not all of them are fully equipped. So it'll be interesting to see how this team does thrown together. I did find champions that I thought would synchronize, but nothing that was too out of reach for somebody new. Okay, so that was the run. We obviously made well above the damage we need to make for Brutal. We'll see the Geomancer's passive here did most of the damage, although Yaga's poisons, Khatun's poisons, and Ultimate Death Knight's poisons all also contributed to the point that if we didn't have as much damage in a champion here, we would still have been in a good place to get this done. And of course, Rector Drath did a bundle of healing. So now let me go show you these champions and what their stats and sets are like so that you can kind of get an idea. Now this Ultimate Death Knight is exactly the same in the last video I made of Ultimate Death Knight where he solos level 25 of Dragon and Ice Golem. He is entirely unchanged from there. So his stats are pretty decent. Again, I did use Hell Hades Team Optimizer in order to check this out and get good defense, great speed, and then pretty solid resist to go into those battles. We'll see he is in a poison set, and he is masteried out going down here to War Master. Now his masteries are not changed to make him better for Clan Boss. So I wanted to show again something that a lot of people when they're early mid game, they don't have the ability to change their champions in order to make them go for different content. So if you made this guy to go get your Dragon 25s out of the way, you probably can't just go re-gear him and change him up in order to go do Clan Boss. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. If you're still working on say like Brutal and you have this guy, you might be able to do Dragon and Brutal with the same champion. Geomancer is also unchained for a long time. I got him in a War Master just for extra damage. And then he is in Lifesteal, since when Lifesteal actually mattered to the champion, it doesn't really anymore. And his gear is kind of all over the place. Decent defense to keep him alive, some attack, and then accuracy to land the debuff is the most important thing for that guy. Now, I have here Rector Drath in fairly decent gear. She's an okay speed, decent health, okay defense. She has a lot of resist because I was tuning her for Doom Tower and arena-oriented stuff that I was trying to work on her previously. Again, obviously her stats could be much upgraded, and not everything is enchanted. She also does not have any mastery spent. I have them not spent, so this kind of gives you an idea what this is doing without even masteries. Put her in masteries, we get an extra 2-3 million more damage on that. I do have her in this Relentless set for the extra turns to rotate through her abilities much faster. Now, Yaga actually was my Clan Boss DPS on my Nightmare team a long time ago, and he is still in the same gear for that. A solid attack, kind of slow speed, though, but he needed there. I think he was tuned for it. I can't remember for sure. Okay, crit damage, his crit rate should obviously be higher, and then accuracy to land his poisons. He's in a poison set to double down. At the time, he was the only one in that poison set. Khatun is on my current Clan Boss team right now for Ultra Nightmare. I have that video up as well. She's in a poison set to cover that damage. You'll notice we have 3 people in poison sets. This is obviously not efficient. We did overcap our buff several times on that last bit. But let's look at her masteries. As always, we go down to War Master for these Clan Boss things. And then stats. Again, her speed is tuned specifically. She is hard capped, not hard capped, but hard limited at this speed. And everything else kind of dictated around that. And then I made sure to get her accuracy so she could land her slow in other areas of content and her turn meter reduction. Now, one of the things that was working pretty well for this team is we had a couple of buffs that work solid. So he provides a shield and a continuous heal here, and then also has a chance of doing a decreased attack. Notice this guy is not booked. Everybody else is booked, so he's not 100% chance of landing that. With that book, it would actually increase the survivability significantly of this team. This reflect damage here coming through his passive, through his A3, enables us to get a bunch of damage on that boss. This happens to strip the buff from the target, which is also key in the survivability. And then here her passive means whenever they're under a perfect veil, they're having... Actually, I could have sworn that increase in defense. Maybe that's just perfect veil causing their defense to be increased in the first place. And we get that when they're full healed up with this A2. So obviously with a team like this, everybody is able to be switched out. The only thing you're going to need if you're looking for this team is we want Ultimate Death Knight here to provide his defense aura. He's providing attack down here. He's providing a shield and a heal. Now, to make a better version of this team, instead of somebody like Rector Drath, you might find somebody who is providing an actual increased defense buff to your team or a strengthen buff to your team, anyone you have doing that. And then, of course, not having 3 different champions in poison is going to help your team a lot as well. Now, like I said previously, this is just kind of the starting point for this team concept. We're going to use Ultimate Death Knight, and I'm going to try to take him in and make the best Nightmare, and then maybe 2 or 3 cure each Ultra Nightmare team if I can manage it. And my goal for those teams is going to be, I'm going to try to stick with only guaranteed legendaries that are, from, login rewards or recent fusions possibly. And then I'm going to try to avoid using any void epics because that definitely biases the team a lot. So we're going to see a team that comes out with not easily, but recently and readily available champions that you could be using. And the other goal for that is I'm not going to change their gear whatsoever from what I have it. So we'll see if I'm able to make a Nightmare team that is not speed tuned, not balanced. So I'm able to keep using these champions where they were, because you may be in a similar position where you can't just take your champion, change all their gear around, change their masteries, put them in a specialized set in order to get a clan boss done. I will follow up that with a caveat. Since clan boss is one of the more important things in the game, changing your teams around clan boss isn't a bad idea. I'm not bashing that whatsoever. That is actually a great strategy. I'm just providing some video context in case you're not able to do that or aren't in a place where you're trying to spend those resources quite yet. This has been an alternate image raid video. We are spin-off of Alternate Image Gaming channel. Links for that, of course, in the description below. If you like this video, definitely like, subscribe, leave a comment as to what I'm missing, leave a comment as to how this could be improved for you specifically, if there's any champions you'd like to see in a clan boss or in some other kind of content. And for Ultimate Death Knight, I'll probably do another video or two on him, maybe outside of this clan boss strategy. Let me know what else you'd like to see for him. And of course, keep that subscribe going on, because when the next fusion comes out, there will be a series of these realistic, readily accessible videos coming out for that champion as well. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, if you dislike this video, smash that dislike button because it's still engagement for the channel. And have a great day.